Hooray. We got more Thanksgiving prep to do. We have a lot of things to get done. Well, not really. So I'm still on schedule for what I have to get done before Thanksgiving Day. Today, I'm going to do the turkey, but that's not the first thing. That's not the first thing we're going to do. We're going to start. I make a soda bread. I'm going to make biscuits this year. So we're going to start the soda bread because that takes an hour in the oven, and I want to make sure that gets done so then I can start dealing with the biscuits. After the soda bread's done, we'll start the biscuits in... Will we? No, we'll probably do the turkey then start the biscuits. So it's going to happen within there. Those are the main goals today. The only other thing I could have done, but I only have one oven, so I can only do those things right now. I was thinking of doing the sweet potato souffle, but I don't think otherwise this stream would be like 5 hours long, and I got things I gotta do. So the soda bread recipe, actually from the Fallout cookbook. It's right here. This recipe. It's really easy. You do it by hand. Use a food processor to start the mixing process. Use a stand mixer. I'm going to use the stand mixer. Am I going to use the stand mixer today at all? No, I think it gets to have a break today. Oops. I left my tea here. Started thinking of like 5 other things. Brewing forever. That'll be fine. So, the first thing I probably want to do is start heating up my oven. Bake. Setting that to 350. Gonna let that sit there. Turn this to make sure I have my notes of what I gotta do. Preheat oven to 350. Combine the flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, baking soda in a food processor. Alright, so everything's going into the food or stand mixer, it says. I think when I originally wrote this recipe, I did it with the food processor, and then they were like, oh, we should probably add the mixer in there. I don't think I've done it with a mixer, so probably will work. Not sure. So I need 4 cups of flour. I actually need to break into another bag later today. Four cups of flour. This is like the relaxing stuff to do. It's not too hectic. I think the way I plan Thanksgiving, just having things kind of needing to get done within the days counting up to Thanksgiving makes my life a little easier because, again, the day of, it's not crazy hectic, and it works out real nice. There we go. 4 cups of flour. I'm going to need this again later. Half cup of sugar. Right? Yes. Half cup of sugar. Gonna need this later too. Again, with the biscuit stuff, a lot of it base-wise is kind of the same, but there's obviously different techniques there. Teaspoon of salt, but we'll just kind of eyeball that. Gonna need baking powder and baking soda. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And then a teaspoon of the baking soda. I grabbed, so like I took out butter earlier because it needs to be like room temperature. And I read it. It says I only need a 3/4 stick because it's 6 tablespoons. And in my head I was like, oh, I need 1.5. What? Not thinking. I need less butter than I took out. But the other 2 tablespoons, because the sticks of butter come in 8 tablespoons, we'll be using for buttering the pan. Go ahead and open that. Not open it. How about cut it first so I know the measurement? Oh, it's like very melty butter. Very room temperature butter. I'm going to go ahead and cube pieces. Just kind of toss it in there. And then we're going to pulse the mixer because we're running the butter to kind of like incorporate in there. A little different again from the biscuit one because we want the biscuits to really get Larry, this is not as much of a Larry thing. I'm just kind of wanting that in there. Whoop. Lock. You could do this step completely by hand too. Probably could have said that. You don't need to do it with a mixer or a blender or anything like that. It's easy enough to do by hand. This is just a little quicker. So now we're gonna go ahead and transfer it. I'm trying to think if it'll fit in this bowl. I think it'll be too tight. Yeah. Get my giant Red Bull. There we go. So again, blade in there. Be careful when you pour it out. Be careful. Slides entire blade out. I'm gonna make sure to kind of get everything. Want to make sure to have the blade kind of soaking so it's a little easier to wash later. Yeah, exactly. You got to be very kitchen safe. Just make sure no one's behind you when you throw it behind your shoulder. It's okay. Oh, Kanji's only legs right now on the stream. That's expected. you come by to see what he's doing? You'd have to like pull the camera out, like the whole chair that it's on. You'd have to go like, yeah, that's true. He'll eventually settle in and be like, oh. Wait, what Buc-ee's? No, but yeah. Okay. Alright. So my butter's nice and crumbly in there. I've moved it over here. I'm going to add the raisins and the cranberries. We're doing that beforehand because we want it to kind of get floured up a little bit. Because if you just put it in after all the liquid's in, the berries and the dried fruit might sink down into one spot instead of kind of being all spread out through the bread. In the book, it calls for raisins and cranberries. I have both. I also have dried cherries. If you're gonna add, you could add any kind of, I'd say, dry berry adjacent thing. Things that are small. So like dried mango is gonna be way too big, and I don't know if that's gonna work as well. But and apricots are way too big. If you dice it up, that might work too in here, as long as it's the size of like a raisin. I'd say is the rule. Add that same amount. So it's 1 cup of raisins and a half cup of cranberries. In my head, I'm like, well, it's Thanksgiving. I might do a half of each. Let's see. Let's see with what I got. Half. Yeah, I want to do less raisins. For sure. I didn't buy a lot of raisins either. Actually, I bought enough for the half cup. The question is, do I do a cup of cranberries or half cup of that and cherries? Ooh. Such questions. Maybe I'll do like, I'll also have to think about my breakfast because we do like this overnight oats thing, and I use both the cherries. Actually, are these cherries? No, they're the right size. It adds dry fruit to the oatmeal, and I want to make sure I have an equal amount of cranberries and cherries. Have a little variety in there. So this will be a 3 dried fruit situation. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. So again, we're making sure that all of the dried fruit is covered by the flour. Because if it's not going to have like that nice coverage, and it'll just sink when it's baking. I want that. So before I add the buttermilk and the egg, that's the last steps to this, I'm going to go ahead and grease up my pan. It says 9-inch and I grabbed an 8-inch pan. It's about par for the course for me to be like, prep ahead of time. Do I have a 9-inch? I have to if I wrote 9-inch. There we go. I do. I have 2. Actually, no, I have like 5 of them. The 8-inch one was the oddity. So I'm going to grease this with butter. I was watching a YouTube video today, and it was from Bon Appetit, and they were answering like questions from Twitter. And someone asked the question, oh my God, how many sticks of butter do you go through to Thanksgiving? I'm up to 10 already. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, I know. Every Thanksgiving is like, how much butter can I go through? Butter. You want a pan of butter, Jeff? Let's just place this. So I'll use it maybe later. Boop. Probably only needed a tablespoon for that extra portion. So this is prepped. I'm going to set that on the side right now. I'll grab it in a moment. So now we're going to whisk in the buttermilk and the eggs. I already have an egg. I wanted it to kind of get a little room temp. I'm gonna crack it in here. I gotta grab my buttermilk. We're going through a lot of buttermilk too today. Nope, see? This is why you do it in a bowl separate from everything else. And if you ever have an eggshell like crack in there, I find using the other shell parts makes it easier to remove that stray eggshell. So that's always important. Before I add the egg, I'm gonna go get the buttermilk. The buttermilk I'm using here mostly for the flavor. You probably could get away with, if you want to keep it dairy-free, an almond or coconut milk, or just milk in general. So, 1 cup. I'm gonna whisk the egg too before we put it in. Egg pre-whisk. 1 cup, so it's a cup and a half. So here's 1 cup. Gonna get that half cup. Add that into. I guess I just need to get like a bunch of large Pyrex bowls, because it is kind of nice having the clear bowl, because then you could see what's happening with how the camera's set up right now. But yep, apron's being rude today. I'm just gonna mix it until it kind of just comes together. The dough will be pretty wet, which is completely fine. I think at a certain point I just typically use my hands for this. I'm gonna place my wedding ring over there. I think soda breads are like one of the easier breads to do, because it's kind of cakey. It's gonna be risen up by the baking powder. You're not having to worry about yeast and that rising and that doing a bunch of things ahead of time. So yeah, at this point I'm gonna just go in with my hands. Again, we don't want to completely overwork it. We're just hoping everything gets incorporated. There's still little pieces at the bottom I see, kind of avoiding the fun party. Okay. So before I transfer it to the cake pan with my messy hands. Ta-da! That's kind of what it looks like. It's pretty, like, thick. Whoop, thick. So we're gonna just, like, transfer that in. Hey, Pally. Yeah, Kanji is very camera shy today. Big. Alright, so I'm just gonna go plop into here. Kind of like press it in, not block the camera. Kind of like go, okay, thanks. Thanks, dough. You're in there. And then I'm going to take my knife that I have over here and I'm going to cut an X across it. Just to have like that iconic soda bread look. Alright, so this one takes a bit in there, so I want to make sure that gets ready. And we'll be ready for when we'll open up for the biscuits. Knife. I'm going to go ahead and cut my X across the way. Not the most even X. Hey, Opine. Alright, so now I'm gonna show what it looks like the before. So here it is right now. You can kind of see I have like my X. X marks the spot to treasure. And you can see some of the fruit and stuff has the flour still on it. It's fine. Because this is a bit dense, the fruit shouldn't fall in. I've not had that issue. It's gonna happen today. Place the dough in a prepared pan, mark with an X, bake for 1 hour until tube is inserted, and it comes out nice and happy. Goodbye, dough. Have fun. 1 done. Let me think. I think. Oh, it's raining. I might prep the butter right now for the biscuits because it has to get chopped and then placed in the freezer for a bit. And then from there... then we'll start the turkey. Oh, they changed the screen. Oh, but I just wanted the little baby version. Streamlabs has like this, you could watch how if you're dropping frames or anything, and it's a separate window, but now it's like 3 times the size for some reason. Forgot to put that up because that's something I usually kind of keep an eye on just in case. Let me rinse this knife. I'll use this knife for the chopping. So I'm trying to make a decision. I think I'm going to make a double batch of biscuits. Do you think that's a bad idea, Jeff? Is that a bad idea? Put this back in the refrigerator. Refrigerator, because... Oh, so it is a bad idea? So I'll only make 1? I don't want you to say anything. I want to know your opinion. A good idea. Okay, so I'll make a double batch. I'm gonna make a double batch, but that is literally me making 1 batch and then another batch, because I've had very bad luck if I take a recipe and you especially desserts, if you mix everything together and you increase it in size, sometimes it just turns out funky. And biscuits can be temperamental. So we'll make sure to do them separate. So I'm going to get 2 plates out after I kind of give this a little bit of a rub down. 2 plates out. Each of them will have... to pull up my recipe now. Onish-chan, how are you? Oh my god, Kanji. What do you got on your face? Come here. Do you have a bunch of... Come here. Oh, no. Lazy. You're getting a treat out of it. Hold on. First. Onichi-chan, thank you. Kanji very much appreciates it. Then. You want it? Go get it. Go get it. Kanji says thank you. And thank you so much for your continued support. Yeah! I added sub badges. I was... that was my quick version of being able to do it. I was like, oh, I could do something cool. And I was like, ugh. But if I make a base cupcake, I can easily change it and make this happen a lot quicker. I was like, okay, it's just time to do something. So I finally did something. Oh no, extra biscuits! What will I ever do with them? Probably eat like 5 of them after that. Oh my god, Vicky, put the timer on. Let's do 5 minutes past. Yeah, I'm gonna eat like 5 of them when we're done doing that. So, I'm gonna prep the butter and then we're gonna get into Turkey Town. We're gonna get, as Jeff would say, Turkey Madness. Actually, I'm gonna grab 2 big plates because the last time I did this, they kind of stuck. You got that Turkey Madness? The wonderful gold saucer. Okay. Butter. I didn't even open the recipe. So 1 batch of them needs a cup. So again, that question, how much how much are we going to be putting in butter-wise for Thanksgiving? So much butter. Actually, my mother-in-law keeps stricter kosher than Jeff does, so a lot of my sides, there are very specific things that have butter in it, and I tell her, no, you can't have that. Because with kosher rules, you don't mix dairy with meat, and that just kind of applies to a lot of things. So I do have like vegan butter in there that I use for a few of my side dishes instead. So kind of keep it consistently with that. But biscuits, I don't think I could do biscuits with vegan butter. I worry, and that might be a good test, because I'll probably have extra after Thanksgiving to kind of test it and see how that butter compares. Ooh, or maybe compare a few vegan butters. But I don't know what we could compare for. Uh-oh. Cameraman Jeffrey in for the save to see if we could get a similar result to the use of butter. Butter. Lots of it. Not today. I don't want to risk that. I think that could be an interesting stream in the future to test it out and see how it works. Do that and probably coconut milk in replacement of the... Actually, I wonder what would be a vegan replacement for buttermilk. Makes loud sounds. So I'm using these bigger plates because I kind of want to just layer. It's actually kind of warm in here, I think. Because butter right away, I took it out and it's like, hi, I'm melting. This is why we're going to freeze it. It is very important that the components you're using for biscuits are all very, very cold because you want the butter to like flake up real nice and still be chunks. So when it's cooking, you get them nice layers. That's the important part. And chop. So when I did this last week, because I did it, no, 2 weeks ago, for the work potluck, I did it on a smaller plate, and then when I transferred the butter out, because I left it in the freezer a little longer than I had intended, and that might happen right now, depending on how the the turkey madness goes. Want to make sure I could still function, like use the butter correctly. Boop. But I think that'll be this, the 2 sets of biscuits and the soda bread should be enough, like bread components for Thanksgiving. The biscuits are going to be real nice for slurping up all that, the turkey gravy. I'm just excited for the biscuits. Nothing else. Whatever about the turkey that takes days to like sit there and brine and do things. I know, Jeff, did you, I actually sent you a post for tomorrow. It's Stardew Valley related. And I actually write a nice little note in there that says, I hope I could convince Jeff to play with me. Alright, so that's a cup. Oh my god, let's look at the sunlight here. We got our cup of butter. Kind of cube, big cubes. I'm not going too small. We probably could have gone a little smaller. But I'm going with bigger chunks. No, I'm questioning it. Yeah, it should be fine. I'll make the second batch a little smaller. I'm going to put it in the freezer because we want nice and cold. Uh-oh. I kept forgetting to ask you to read it, so. The playlist is all about the primals today. Not the band. What else doing the little cubes? No, I want real chunky pieces. But did like the update notes come out for the update, Jeff, for the Stardew Valley one? Because there wasn't too much information. I know they were adding like extra heart quest. Ooh, it's okay. You gotta kind of give me a little bit of the information. So they added additional heart quests for after you get married with someone. Supposedly there's more end game stuff. I know a big thing that was they were adding because people were asking for it for the multiplayer. There's a 4 corners map. Oh, yeah, come on over. I like that game a lot. It is a go-to chill game for me. Also, the multiplayer is real nice, but I know one of the things they added was the ability for your money and stuff to be separate in the multiplayer with this update. Sous Chef Jeff reading me game notes. Yeah. Pally did. Oh, it doesn't really the little conchas. Oh, that's a thing I want to make too. Do that on stream. Attempt again. Okay. Jeff has the bullet point notes for me.
Added.
I think it's picking you up.
Am I on this? Hello?
Smells like coffee.
I can't imagine why. Added movie theater unlocked in late game with related content and features. Added 14 heart events for every spouse. I don't think we did any of that.
When we were playing, none of us were going and making a relationship with someone.
We were too busy for relationships.
Yeah, I mean, you were exploring all the mines and stuff. Harry was fishing like crazy, and I was like, I have to
There's something for Harry on this.
Yeah, no, they did some big fishing changes.
New events and dialogue.
Okay.
Added clothing items equipped on the player replaces former clothing appearance options.
Oh.
Added clothes, tailoring, and dyeing.
They added tailoring? Oh.
Added 24 new hairstyles, including bald heads.
That wasn't a... Interesting.
Added 4 corners with the farm map, meant for co-op, divides the land into 4 areas with their own perks. So I guess there's like, the farm is like...
It's 4 separate pieces, and then, and your...
Section,
The mining section.
the fishing section.
Yeah. And your money's separate.
Okay.
Hold on, let me put this in the freezer before you keep reading. And let me grab the... Oh my... Kinda... Hold on. Kinda need to clean up in there a little bit. Hold on 1 second. Sure, here. Just gonna play cleanup now. Alright, so. Cutting boards? I wonder if it's just like because we cleaned it and then we immediately maybe plopped it on there. I think is what happened. So it might have been the cleaning stuff that went there. Saw a different method today for how to cut the back out, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Seems a little easier, but large bird. 14.69 pounds. I did that purposely. All right.
Added fish ponds to breed fish and produce items.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
good.
there's a bunch of items, shirts, hats, pants, boots, decorative items, flooring options, 2 secret notes, 2 fish, artifact troves, dinosaur mayonnaise, there's a bunch of things,
Dinosaur mayonnaise.
shrimp cocktail, seafoam pudding, squid ink.
Oh, squid ink. Oh, and green tea? Oh my gosh.
There's tea bushes now.
Tree fertilizer. Oh.
Wilted bouquet, crafted from a bouquet, which lets you break up with NPCs you're dating. Wood chipper. And new mine equipment, blah 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 blah. Shed upgrade, doubled interior size. Add a cat dog breed, selectable from the new character customization menu.
Oh my gosh, is there a corgi?
I don't know. Corvus is a potential roommate if you're unmarried.
Crovis is moving on in. Harry wanted him.
Desert Trader, Trash Bear to clean up trash around town in year 3. 4 new monster goals. 4 new museum rewards. Trash can upgrade. To give more money back. Sunroom. Emotes.
Ooh.
Winter flooring spray.
Added a new farm building, desert obelisk. Oh, that probably teleports you to the desert like the other obelisks do.
Oh, okay, yeah. Some spoiler stuff I'll skip.
Oh, is it story stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's all like fancy fixed stuff. So.
Divorced spouses no longer attend your wedding. Divorced spouses no longer treat their exes normally during the festival.
That's pretty good. Auto grabbers now work in the co-op, in the coop too. Coop? Co-op? I don't know.
It'd either be coop or co-op. Could be either or.
Okay, that's mostly it.
That's exciting. It's a little change.
Multiplayer changes.
Oh, there we
added
go.
Optional separate money and multiplayer optional. Added support for private messages, more multiplayer server messages, a ping command which prints the current ping to the host.
Oh, and you could kick people. You could ban.
Ban. Multiplayer synchronization for different things.
Oh, nice.
Each player now has a separate mailbox and spouse porch area.
Y'all get spouses now. Oh, man.
That means we get our own house. Well, each player can now build a separate cellar.
No, we all had separate houses.
Well, you had the main house. We had side houses.
I think you could upgrade your house.
No, we weren't able to.
It's been a while then.
Were we able to?
I don't remember. I know.
Not the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, quality of life.
Ability to fill existing stacks in a chest from your inventory. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Another random stuff. We have to get through all.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Oop. Smack the thing. That's I was looking forward to that update. I knew about it. I actually remembered about it when I was writing my, because it's like, I'm doing a Stardew Valley post. I was like, all right, 1.4 is coming out. When is it? Aw, it's coming out today, or like this week, Thanksgiving. Why?
Queen of Sauce reruns will now choose an already aired recipe that the player doesn't know.
Oh, the reruns will prioritize things you don't know. That is nice. Ooh, I might. Actually, we should talk to Sam and Brock if they've ever played it. That could be an interesting thing. Because you get 4 players. Okay, so I'm going to get... Actually, I'm going to have Jeff stand here and do little dances. I need to cut this in the sink because the juices are going to go... Pop, and it's going to be a mess. Meh. Here. Change what? You can't change it, it's just kanji. Here. Give your hot Thanksgiving face.
I don't know how this thing goes.
You could just put it around your head and not put Look at you, you're like
Did I get it on? I think so. Yes. Yes. So then I put this in my back pocket. And I get rid of all this because we're doing a different recipe. I'm changing it. I have the mic now. No, I'm just kidding. This is my favorite part of the prep because we get to break the back of the turkey. And did I do it last time, or did you do it? I think it was a joint effort last time. Yeah, yeah. We'll see how stubborn this turkey is this time around. Oh, you have to save all the stuff inside? The neck and the giblets. And the other parts of the turkey, like the Krampus. The spatchcock zone. No, I should not be in charge of anything. I am very good at assisting. Only has one neck? What kind of non-mutant turkey was that? I'm looking at Kanji right now as he sleeps peacefully. Oh, nope, he's looking at me. Oh, nope, falling asleep again. What a sleepy lad. I know when we first got Kanji a bunch of years ago, I never had a dog before, and I never realized how much they sleep during the day. So the first day we had him, I was just like, imagine this is Kanji, because, you know, they look the same when they're upside down. I was like, what do I do with this? Is it just going to sleep here? Am I supposed to, like, constantly entertain it or, like, look at it? Or do I just, I don't know. Does it just lay there? And the answer is dogs sleep a whole lot. And that's cool. And I'm jealous. Because if I take a nap for more than like 5 minutes at a time, I get groggy and I feel terrible. So, he can do what I can't do, which is enjoy a nap.
Alright, I can take that.
So now Victoria is flipping the turkey.
You're gonna narrate what
No,
I'm
you,
doing?
you can have it back. I think the turkey should be doing the stream. Let me put this on the turkey.
What's the turkey? Hello, chat. Whoop. I am the turkey. Yeah, you want to be careful with putting that in a spot. Alright. So we got our turkey. And I'm going to probably... I'm just thinking. Might be more interesting. I wonder if there's a way for me to put it on there. Under that camera. Let me just safely do it. That's I would not do the backbreaking part, but more for the cutting. It's a little of an awkward angle, but so here's the back. You can kind of see the lines of it right there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the scissors, the kitchen shears. Another method I saw today was someone took a serrated knife and did it, and it seemed a lot easier on the hand, which I'm curious about trying almost. Because they did it like, they cut it, if I was left-handed, like this. I'll usually cut it down this way, but it does require a little more force than you would typically think. So I probably won't do the actual cutting there. I don't want to risk doing things. But as we'll go through the process, I'll cut half of it, go back to this shot, cut half of it. So just put this on top of that one so I don't have to keep. Just because we're doing something pretty sharp with knives and stuff, I don't want to risk anything. I guess this would be a moment where if we had a kind of nicer stand thing and we could like adjust it and be like, oh, okay, we're doing the overhead look now. Things I'm looking for Black Friday if they're cheap. Main do. Alright, so we're not going to worry about feathers and stuff right now. We'll clean that up after we do the crunching. You're going to hear big crunches here because we're cutting through bone. Basically the ribs at this point. We want to be as close as we can to the... See, now I'm curious. I've always done it incorrectly, so I've always been slightly off. Or a little too close or a little too far to the right on one side. You just want to make sure that you're following the main line of the back here. Which I'm actually kind of turning a little too far. Things are going to be cracking. We're going to be cracking bones. There are specifically like, I think turkey, bread, turkey or other kinds of shears that are meant. Yep. Oh my God, yeah, that is easier. All right. I use a serrated knife to do that, and that kind of like cut through real nice. I'll let you do the switching of the thing. So you have to go back a level twice, I think. And then the one with the kanji face on it. So you can see I cut half of it right now. So we've cut, the back is right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this side. This tends to be the trickier part to do because it gets a little wobbly because you're kind of using your main force to keep on this side. So we're going to go back over here. Again, safety. I'm going to start it with the shears.
Just to get like the guy, the line going before you start shaking it knife around.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, put the knife there. You see, like it's all, yeah, it's like starting to break.
Rope right there, so if you can't hold on to it right there.
Yeah. Whoop. Oh, but make sure you're not in front of the camera, Jeff. So you also want to make sure you have like a surface that's not going to be moving on you as you're doing this. So that's why I have like the towel, the kitchen towel under there to make sure that it's not like moving on me as I'm moving it. Yeah, for this part, this doesn't work as well. Doesn't feel like. Just take a chainsaw to it. Oh, this one's being mean this year. Oh, my hands are getting all greasy. Am I too close to the... Please, chicken. Chicken. Chicken! You're a turkey.
Who you calling a turkey?
Here we go. I think I had... Yeah.
The thickest ribs right there.
Whoops. It will go in there in a moment. So I am needing to... Ooh. Oops. Cut a little more than I expected. So I'm going to... I'll place it... I have to, like, break part of it.
Well, it's already kind of broken.
Let me put it here right now. I'm going to have to, like, with a knife, go on a cutting board. So we're going to, again, switch to the other camera so we could show that removed. So, okay. We've removed the back. I actually cut a little closer than I wanted to, so I have separated some of this from this bone piece, but that's fine. It's going to be sitting under things. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be flipping this bad lad around, and we're going to be cracking things up. So, we're going to go back over here. Gonna lift the bird, gonna remove this, and we're gonna go ahead. Actually, something I also saw. People were kind of like loosening some things up a little bit, but I don't know if that works. I haven't done it before, so we'll keep it like this. Whoop. Turkey's like, but why? Move the knives, yeah. Here. So we're kind of in awkward town right now, where it's like, oh no, I'm not completely flat. We're wanting to break this area, this part of the bone roughly, so it lays flat and it'll start splitting. Definitely cut it a little funky, but that's fine. Ooh, careful. We have bones flying in places. Let me actually, because this piece, That piece cut in like that is a little funky, so. Oh. Meh. There we go. Meh. Actually. Might have been a really small piece that fell. I picked one up here. I picked one up here already. The big thing we want to make sure is that Kanji doesn't get it. So after the stream, if anything. Huh? Yeah, it broke. It kind of looks a little funny because the back cuttage wasn't perfect, but it got the point across. Again, can't be perfect, but we got our flat bird. Bone juice. We snapped bones. I don't know if the audio picked that up at all, too. It's got this flat lad. Flat. It's like a tilted bird. Put that there. I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to the rack that it's going to be dry brining on. And then eventually getting cooked on when we actually do our cooking process. So, oh good. I'm happy it picked it up because now we have more bone breaking to happen. Okay. So this, you don't want to just throw this out and get rid of it. This is delicious flavoring for your, we're going to do like a stock / gravy. Using this, getting that extra flavor. It's easier to do this with this kind of knife because you're able to just like slam it, put some pressure on it, and get it in there. So these pieces, put it in the fridge. Put that bad boy in the fridge. Alright, so now I'm going. Actually, since I saw. Yeah, Badger said something. Badger, have you ever played Stardew Valley? Bone juice. Gonna get that delicious bone juice. Alright, so we're gonna do quick cleanup. Because I'm gonna move it back over here. Not on that first row. So we're slowly gonna have to like start attempting to make room in the fridge. Turkey spine. No, Kanji, you don't get any turkey spine. I'm sorry. That needs to go. Not there. Okay. First things first. General cleanup of the table. Because there's definitely bone juice everywhere. What we probably could move is the chutney could move up under the pumpkin pie. This is where Thanksgiving starts to get tricky. Because the big thing, that turkey is going to have to sit flat like that. So that big container is going to have to sit in the fridge until... Does it? No, it should be fine. Because I wouldn't do it the opposite way. No, that's fine. Yeah, the pumpkin cheesecake. I did say pie, but it's there. I'm going to be using a good chunk of those, so yeah, go ahead and put that there. Just being a good sport and cleaning up. So, we are not done yet with this sweet, sweet bird. Boop. So, you can see, I never get it to look like that perfect bird that everyone has where it's like perfectly cut. Has a little bit of lean, which is fine. So what I'm going to do, I think usually, is that how it is? Let me check my recipe. I feel like the wings get... Harry can't wait for the can of Ocean Spray Jellied Cranberry. Not sponsored. Yes, that's good enough. But now you're blocking my beautiful knee. I would not want to be sponsored by them. I want to check one thing real quick with spatchcocking. Spatchcock turkey. Yeah, right? So they don't get burned. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I ain't crazy. It's been a bit. So we're going to go ahead and put those wingtips. Tuckerino. Oh, I'm so excited for you to have leftovers of just ocean sprayed cranberry sauce. Oh, did he say anything about Stardew Valley? I asked him, he didn't say. He said bone juice. Badger, you didn't answer my question. Have you played Stardew Valley? Do you own Stardew Valley? Right. Stardew Valley. You play it. Oh, you played it when it came out? Have you done the multiplayer stuff at all? I assume no if you only played it when it came out. So I have my salt. I'll take a bowl. We need a half cup of salt. Actually, me, dum-dum, I need to, like, do every part of the turkey here. I have to turn it around. Not paying attention to what I'm doing. Half cup of that and 2 tablespoons baking powder. This recipe is from Serious Eats. I'm not going to take any credit for my turkey recipe. It's not my own. I've made it the last 3 years and it's been perfect. No need to change it up. Alright. So we're going to have to check if Sam has the game. Because they did a big update right now. It's really good. Yeah, like it is my go-to. It's super simple. Like, the scariest part is taking the backbone out and dealing with that situation. But once you get over that, I'm gonna take it back over here. We'll do the bottom part off that main camera. Do 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 do. Boop boop. Oh no, I gotta flip it back over. Come here, turkey. Whoop. Yeah, I cut it too deep here, so that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead. Just wanna really rub it in. Toss off any bone bits that I'm like picking up here. So yeah, this will sit in the fridge until right before I'm cooking it. I think I do take it out a little earlier so it starts to warm up to room temp a little bit. Also want to, if there's any massive feathers, kind of get rid of them. Like that one. If you're having a difficult time removing like a feather or anything like that, sometimes just taking pliers to it is a little easier, or tweezers can work too. Pliers work perfectly fine. Also I've used pliers for like removing like fish bones. You don't get like the ridiculous like, oh, there's the whole bird. It's beautiful. But I ain't going for that. I'm going for it to cook correctly, be nice and crispy, be delicious. Whoop. Okay, just doing a kind of a feather check before I start covering it up. These feathers are being very nice and just kind of coming out pretty easily. Alton Brown did a episode this week, and I watched it today. It was really interesting because it's like you shouldn't, like with the turkey, you don't go and you don't cook like a whole cow all at once and have it do it a specific way. Now you do it with I've seen whole roasted pigs before, but it's not too common. You cook things to their strength. So a piece of chuck is going to cook differently than a fillet. There's just better methods for certain things. So he was doing that method with the concept of it's like, oh no, did someone? That was brought to me by Harry. Thank you, Harry. You could share it with the chat. Also, Kaylee, thank you so much for the follow. He was talking about cooking things differently. So he had a section for the legs, the thighs, and the breast. And I thought the thigh one was the most interesting. Oh no, Harry's sharing it. Harry beat you, Jeff. For the thigh, he was like, well, it does better in stews. The legs are good for smoking, and kind of made fun of Renaissance fairs because there would have been no turkeys in the medieval era in Europe. And then the breast, he did a boneless like breast thing where he wrapped it around itself with the skin. That's probably the one I'm like, whatever. I'm not doing the roll thing. But the thighs, he did a turkey masala, tikka masala, and I was like, oh my god, why am I not doing that? Because it's just chicken tikka masala is very good, and I'm like, why am I not doing that in general? All right, time. I was gonna do it over there, but I'm like, I don't want to get a bunch of like salt and stuff in my stove. So I'm just gonna go ahead, really kind of like lather this, lay it up. We're gonna move. Some of it's gonna get in the bottom. I leave it like that, whatever. But when I am gonna cook it, I'll take this top rack off, and then switch it out, kind of clean it, because below it you do add a bit of aromatics. So onion, carrots, some herbs to just kind of add that aromatic deliciousness. Hey fella, it's been a while. How are you? So mud crab. I caught myself some fresh mud crab. That's what happens when you flatten a turkey. Okay. Also want to kind of like get under the skin where we can. You could pull it out. I haven't done that personally usually. It's worked fine. Obviously, rubbing it under the skin and doing all that without tearing the skin would be your better bet. But again, it's worked. This method has worked. I'm not gonna change what works. That's the kind of situation we got going on. I'm gonna turn this real quick. So So I can get the bottom, like some of the bottom a little more. Mushi, you've never had a turkey. I guess in other countries it might not be as popular of a thing. I mean, this is definitely a... I think most people have turkey just around Thanksgiving. That's the only time I'll do like the whole bird. I kind of wish, I don't know where I could pick up like pieces of like turkey. I know where I get turkey legs. I could get that at my local grocery store pretty easily. They might have thighs too. I might look into it again. Thinking about it. So how you doing today, Mushi? Alright, there we go. We got our bird covered. Ready for its brine. I will switch cameras so y'all could kind of get a deeper look into that situation. Oh. Also, the soda bread's going to be done way before any of my biscuit sets are ready. Okay. Sweetie camera. Sweetie. Stove. Here it is, looking all, ooh, look at me. I'm a turkey, and I'm getting ready. So for those who missed it, we did rip the back out. No, we cut it out, and then we cracked its chest piece to like flatten it out. This helps big time with cooking time. This, in this setup, at the temperature that I cook it at, which is... It's a pretty high temp. Oh, see, now goose is not that popular here. I've been tempted to buy goose because I see it and I'm like, should I make a joke recipe for the goose game? And I haven't, because I haven't played the goose game. So that's one of those like, Oh, Maddie Madison's great. Very, very great chef. Hey, the turkey needs to be dry brined. Here's method. Please, recipe. So I can tell you. So I do it 450. We pat it dry after that, and then we rub it with a little oil. After we've rubbed, because we'll rub off all of this original one. We won't add too much extra salt because it is already going to be a little salty, and then a lot of pepper. We're going to heavily pepper it. We put it in there, and we roast it at 450 until it reaches where the breast reaches 150. That sounds low, because if you do it any higher, it's gonna get dry. So you cook it until 150. You pull it out early, wrap it in aluminum foil, and let it sit for about an hour. Because it's so hot at that point, and it's going to keep cooking. And that's one of the more important things with that. So, Jeff, I need help getting this sweet lad into the fridge. Don't want to make a mess. Open the fridge. I have to get this thing in there. I want to make sure not to drop it. Because that would be sad. Actually, I'm going to switch the camera real quick because I'm going to do that drive-by. Turkey drive-by. Whoop. Whoop. Hello, I'm a turkey. Brr. Alright, so the fridge door might block the camera. I love it. Alright, there it goes. Goodbye, sweet lad. I'll see you in... Actually, I'll see you every time I open the fridge. Last evening. Mushi, you should be eating something. That is a bit of time since You last ate. Okay. That was the heavy lifting part of today. The rest of it is just making a bunch of biscuits. And I find that very relaxing to do. I have to remember, Jeff, we're going to have to highlight that whole section. Because I think that's one of the more unique things that we'll do. I think I did a good job also kind of explaining it. Alright, I'm going to wash my hands. Again, raw turkey. Excellent. A biscuit time. The whole turkey situation. Ooh, I'm a sucker for grilled cheeses. They're nice and easy. We're going back to biscuit land. I'm going to go ahead and combine all my dry ingredients. It's going to be minor differences from what the actual recipe ends up being, because I don't have one of the elements right now. I'm going to leave that in there because we're going to be doing this again. So that's just some good old all-purpose flour. Not needing any. Okay, so you're asking the hard questions, Badger. You can make that happen if you donate to St. Jude for $100 and you get to pick the themed stream. With your power of donating to the children, you can choose what I cook. That includes a Big Mac claw. As you see, I have like the St. Jude chatbot in, giving you fun St. Jude facts. But yeah, from now until the end of December, I am running some charity streams, raising money for the kids. Thank you, Jeff, for hitting that exclamation point, charity. So if you have, only if you're able to, don't do it if you can't. Donate some money, and yeah. Just gonna put that into your can drive. Thank you, Jeff. Is Harry still here? Because I feel like I'm gonna get it wrong. So a Big Mac claw is a grilled cheese with specifically American single slices. The American, what is it called? Kraft American singles. White bread, like the most over-processed bread that you could find. So we got bread, both butter, bread, cheese. Pop-Tart is typically a strawberry Pop-Tart. More Kraft singles, white bread, butter. And then it gets done. Any Pop-Tart of your choice. I don't like American Kraft singles either. This is why that would be a funny one. But that is your way to make that happen. If you want to see that on stream, there's a possibility. Okay, you have to, if you're going to make a grilled cheese, you got to put butter on both sides to get that nice little You all should be upset, and I'm upset too. When this was because of a conversation of what is a grilled cheese, what's the difference between a grilled cheese and a melt, and that caused a whole hubbub. But then double stacked big. See, And if that did become a thing, we could test different Pop-Tarts out. Maybe even have Harry just come on down and co-star in a wonderful stream. But, alright, biscuits. I mean, yeah, Harry's done it. And the only place, I don't know, Harry, if you've done it at your current place. The only other place it's been done is here. It was actually implemented here and done in this kitchen while I was at work. Oh my god. Beep, beep, beep. Zachary! Thank you so much. I'm actually also doing the nice thing. Thank you so much for donating $10 to St. Jude. I'm going to... At $10 on top of the kanji... Unique kanji, individually done kanji picture, and thank you that you will get... ooh, my bread's done. Kanji also gets a treat here. Kanji, you get treated up. Let me check this real quick. Actually, I can put it on the, and then we'll get back to that. Ta-da. Wash this. I'm gonna actually check the time, and I think we're good, and it comes out clear. Beautiful. Beautiful, nice toasty bread. Kanji, the kids are being supported and you're being supported. Actually, let's try these new treats we got. We got some new kanji treats. Nope. These freeze-dried raw carnivore crunch. Cage-free chicken recipe. Treats for dogs. 98% chicken. We're also one step closer. There you go, cat. Whoop, whoop. One step closer to that Jeff stream. That Jeff sponsored cook stream. It's sponsored because I'm making them. I don't know. 2% bone juice. Get that bone. I mean, what? Any stocks at this point is bone juice, right? Right? Isn't that how it works? Okay, hold on. I'm going back into chat. And I see people talking about 8-year-old them and what they would be doing in the kitchen. My sister, one of the things she liked to do was she would toast a piece of bread. This is the one thing I hated. She'd toast a piece of bread and then just put mayo on it and eat that. And I was like, that is the most disgusting thing ever. But yes, my sister's a monster. Is that true? I love my sister. She's wonderful. But I don't think current her would do that. What temperature do I need the oven? Actually, I'm gonna... it's gonna be a little bit till we need that. Salt. Baking powder. Let me do this real quick. Focus, Vicky. Because I want to make sure I don't goof this. A little bit of baking soda. Make sure I get all my dry... I did not put sugar in. A lot of the same ingredients as with this thing that we have back here. I'm a little more quiet about what exact measurements we have going on. You might be able to figure out just by like looking at what I'm doing exactly, but this is a recipe from the book. Since things aren't out yet, I can't give exact numbers, but okay. Like a big old toast with mayo. Yeah, that's it. That's right. It's a few. Yeah, just add something meat. I mean, the other thing she really liked growing up too was bologna. I hated the stuff. I do know a few years back we did what we called Witchmas, where we went around and had a bunch of different like sandwiches. One of the places we went to did have like a fried bologna sandwich. I think Harry had some of that. I know our friend McClure, who the big McClure is named after. Was very excited about that. But I never liked bologna. Yeah, Harry had it. A lot of people liked it. That place was odd in general. Let me read my instructions real quick. Combine. Okay, I'm going to add the butter and then I'm going to put that back in the freezer. So we'll go with the first set of butter. Our cubes that are extremely frozen. Yeah, it's not for me. I was always like, growing up, I had a lot of salami. I was kind of like, the hell yeah. Butter's really stuck on there. Even the butter's excited about my young childhood life of just like salami. Oh no. Kanji, that butter's not for you. We lost like a quarter of a tablespoon. That is fine. Okay. Now with my hands, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of like work it in there. It's going to take a little bit because it is pretty frozen. So this is their workout for the day. Yeah. Yeah. Develop? Yes. Also, yes, Kanji's a very good boy. He's never been one to like go and lunge at food or grab anything. Now, if I leave the kitchen and I'm done for the moment, he might go perusing to see if there's anything accidentally left down. But beyond that, he'll be whatever. I'm cool. Oh, wow. That's pretty neat, Mushi. I don't have any salami in the house. I have tempted you all to go. This is now a salami sponsored stream. No brand, just salami. Go get yourself some. There's none in the house, Kanji. Right. So yeah, because my hands are on the warmer side, obviously it's going to be warmer than the butter that's in here. It is going to kind of break it down and melt it a little bit, but we want to make sure we're still going to have like clumps of butter in there. The typical description given and things is that it resembles course meal. Just little chunks. Zaker, you were thinking ahead of time. No, not big salami. Sponsored by the concept of salami. Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. I always tell Jeff, my biggest weakness is if there's a thing of biscuits, I will just consume. I love biscuits. Doesn't need anything else, just biscuits. Ooh. What are you hoping to test out with your recipe, Bella? Rawr. Ooh, with pumpkin spice. Okay, so in this recipe, I know I add like a spice mixture. I currently don't have it. Not gonna say what it is exactly. Again, stuff not mentioned. But I think, yeah, that could work real well. Ooh. All right, there we go. So as I'm doing this, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put this back in the freezer because, again, it is very important that our butter stays chunks. Otherwise, we won't get those beautiful, beautiful layers out of our biscuit. That's probably one of the more important things. Which is why I didn't cut these into like real small cubes. I want real big chunks of butter just sitting there. Okay, so scones. Yeah. I mean, in a sense, yeah, biscuits are a nice like blank canvas that you can kind of play with. Actually, I think I was goofing around with scones and I added, because I love the flavor of cardamom. I definitely threw some of that in there. That is a spice that I'm like, I'm just going to add it into things. This is me after discovering it, 4 years ago. I'm like, oh, it's so good. Why wasn't I using this spice ever in my life before? All right. Yeah, so wash my hands real quick and then I'll throw on the close-up camera so y'all could see what this looks like. So you can kind of understand the concept of a course meal. A lot of recipes like to write. I write it too because it's like kind of a standard description used. Ta-da! All right. So you can see I still have like big old chunks in there, kind of sitting there. If I keep working this, the butter is going to melt more and more and more. And again, like we mentioned, want to keep it nice and still real chunky. So back into the freezer this goes. 15 minutes at least, which at that point gives us time to work on the other one. And timer 15 minutes. Go. I'm going to turn my oven back on to start preheating. High temp on this one, 425 is what it will cook at. Actually, I think I lied. I think I have to cut and then freeze again. Yeah, I lied. Don't do that. Don't get excited, Vicky. You still have, there's a lot of freezer time. Food processor, yeah, is going to make it way easier. I used my food processor already, and it's sitting there. Don't want to mess with that. This is one of the recipes I know by hand works, and I imagine with the food processor it should be fine. But I'm adding a little extra love. I think that's big enough. I don't think this is big enough. I need to wash a bowl real quick. I'm worried that's going to be a little tight space-wise. Ding, ding, ding. Lots of... Also, this is kind of the benefit of like pre-prepping things for Thanksgiving. I'm not like Thanksgiving Day like, oh my God, there's so many dishes. It's just like a week of dishes. As long as I keep up with it, it won't be too bad. So the nice thing is because I am doing the 2 batches, as certain parts of certain batches start doing specific things, there'll be the resting periods and stuff. So we'll be able to do things at kind of the same time. Kind of have that process flow happening all in order. Whoop. Ooh, a potato masher works well for the butter stuff. That's actually a good point. That would work well. Yeah, in the end, if that method works for you and it's what you like, hell yeah, then you did it. It's a success. Hard bottoms on the biscuit. So they're burning. So I wonder if it could be where the rack placement is. Yeah, Pally does have. If it is too close to the heating element, I would pick up that rack and try that. See if it helps. Because unless you're using like a convection oven that has the heat kind of like flowing and moving, it still is going to be a little hotter at that bottom. So you want to. Because that's typically where the heating elements are. Butter. Other thing. Another set of dry ingredients. Hopefully I have enough. Actually, I think I have a whole nother bag of flour. Let's go. Like, time to see if I have another bag of flour. Otherwise, I'll just use bread flour real quick. I don't have enough. I have a second bag of bread flour. It's just fine. This is all fine. I have to remind myself that I need to get regular flour. So I know for my recipe, I do 425 for about 15 to 20 minutes. But I'm also making like, it'll be about 12 big pieces. No, I don't think I need any flour for, if at this point, any of the flour recipes any flour I need to introduce, I could use the bread flour. I'm not baking things anymore, so that'll be fine. Yeah, it all depends on the size that you end up using for the timing. I found 425 to work nicely, and it's also important. This is something I tend to highly suggest to people. Make sure you have a thermometer in your oven. You could get a pretty cheap one off of Amazon or even at your like grocery store. Have that in there because sometimes your oven can be, you might put it in at 450 and it could be actually like 500. So that is always a thing I highly recommend having in there. Boop. Kind of just add in all my things. See, that first one was done nicely in the clear bowl, so you were able to watch the magic happen. Okay, I think. Boom. Okay. We need to butter again. Get more tea soon, too. Right. That's, yeah. You're still waiting on. Have you had any updates on that? Also, I imagine with all the voting stuff going down with like Brexit and whatever is causing also issues in terms of the government getting stuff done. Okay. Right, I know. Yeah, you had to. Oh, gosh. That is all such a headache. More butter. I should have filled my tea up before I grabbed the butter. It's fine. Because it's pretty dang frozen. Oh no, Jeff. Now I'm going to have to decide. Because with the Stardew Valley update, Crow was nice enough to give me a key for Staxel, which that's another farming game. I'm going to just be playing farming games for like ever now. Which Staxel is multiplayer. But I don't know how the multiplayer works with that game. Ooh, it is? Oh, shoot. I don't see. Yeah, on this plate, this is just butter. Are you saying Kanji's bed's a plate, Jeff? Butter, butter, butter. Lots of butter. Oh, is it? Yeah, the Portia game was another one I wanted to play. It was on my, like, wish list. Kanji's on a cloud. That's his Nimbus. Please. I have to remember to grab. Actually, I'd be curious to see if they have like a Black Friday sale. But the Game Pass was like $1, or like the Ultimate Game Pass was like $1 for 3 months. I have to add that. Kaji's Lakitu. Oh no, the characters are ugly. But see, okay, and the other game that I'm currently playing is I keep Dragon Quest Builders 2. That game is amazing. And I was actually telling Jeff the other day, I'm like, it's very close to being my game of the year almost. Game's been so fun. Like, any chance I get to, like, sit at the couch over there, I'm like, time to play. Do more story. Love that game. Because that's game of the year stuff. That's stuff I have to start contemplating. Because I always do a wrap-up of the year on my site. I'll do food and game highlights from the year. And I try to keep track of all the games I've played. I think originally, like, I had... It still might be. Final Fantasy XIV's like big because Jeff and I went through all the expansions this year. Spent a lot of time, and I really had a fun time with that. Taking a break right now, so I could catch up on every other game that I have on my list. Like Poor Judgment. Poor Judgment. Sweet rolls. So, okay, I actually have it on my list written Final Fantasy 14 Heaven's Ward / Shadowbringers. very much so not Stormblood. Stormblood is, I'm going to say it, trash. Also, man, think about all that Emmerich. I did not like Stormblood. I think I was so like, But I'm gonna be careful not to say any spoilers, any story spoilers. Okay, Vela. Emmerich is my Final Fantasy XIV husband. Okay, so y'all step off. That's mine. Square, please add housing into Ishgard. So I could be in that city. Actually, Crow, how far are you now into the game? Story-wise. It's been a while since I've asked you. How far you got? Okay. The anti-tower. Ugh. Yeah, it's always rough. If anything, Crow, there are always like a group of us that are like, oh, whatever. If you see us on the other Discord, people more than willing to be like, yeah, we'll run whatever. We don't care. Okay, Jeff. I need the AC turned down. Because I'm like, I am hot in here. And that's not good for my butter. I don't even know what the temperature is in here, but I'm like, hot. Probably all the moving around, but that's fine. Ooh, yay! We're going to be able to work with the next one. See? Perfect. Timing. Oh, thank you. So before... Please? Jeff, there's still popsicles in there. From when I made them for Forrest. Like I said, my timer was going to go off. Fine, let me start my next timer. 15 minutes. That's for the other set. So now we're going to be rolling that dough. I do think, unfortunately, right now, yeah, I think our Final Fantasy accounts have lapsed in time. I think we'll probably pick it back up when either 5.2 or 5.3. I haven't decided how long we're gonna break for, because I have too many games. Done a bad job. I still need to finish the Outer Worlds. Jeff finished it. But then I got distracted with a bazillion other things. Measuring cup. Mike. Thinking ahead. What do you need? Jeff has said that I'm like 3/4 of the way-ish. Close to 3/4 of the way-ish in. I just need to sit down and kind of play it. Which, with my Final Fantasy account lapsing, that'll make it very easy to do. Maybe this weekend after family like heads out and friends head out, I'll be able to like sit down for a few hours and actually play through it and then decide what my next recipe's gonna be. I'm pretty sure it's either gonna be Rizzo or Sisty Pig related. I'm not sure which one for sure is happening. But one of those two companies is going to show up next. Which is my favorite jingle? I mean, it's easy to say like Spacer's Choice because that's the one I feel like I hear the most. CMP, they know their C's and P's. Trying to think of all of them right now. Why can't I remember Rizzo's? This is what happens when I'm like doing 10 million things. I forget all the jingles. Meh. Meh. Let me rinse this because now it like decided to collect kanji fur with it. It's Rizzo's. That's right. I think I'm gonna have to go with Spacer's Choice, actually, because it's not the best choice. They're all so good. Ugh, that game, like, I enjoyed the time I spent with it, and then I'm like, with every game like that, I kind of like get distracted and something else happens. And put this back in the fridge. So before we do the other one, we're gonna mix this up. Take our first one out. Chilled. Add that in. 'Cause now we're working on a timer. We want to make sure things stay cold. And we're going to work it, so we don't want to work it too much. Oh yeah, I'm happy I didn't use the other bowl for the other one because that would have ended poorly. So we're going to go ahead until this just comes together as I make a huge mess. And I'm going to pour it out onto the counter because that'll make it a little easier to work with to kind of all bring it even more together. You shouldn't need any extra like milk or liquid. It should come together pretty nicely. Like there's exactly enough. You don't want it to be too wet. You don't want to work it too much. Okay. I still see lots of strips of butter. That's the important thing. It's what we want. Actually, should have planned a little better. I think I made this mistake when I did this last week too. Actually, Jeffrey! Oh, Jeffrey! This is a common mistake I make in all of cooking, where I'll start working things and then I'm like, uh-oh, I didn't. Can I have the flour out of there? Because I need to sprinkle it on the countertop. Do I have flour in my... No, I might. That's the only flour I have right now.
to HEB at New Bucky's to pick you up some flour?
No, because they'll not buy the brand I want. Can you put it in one of the small bowls so I'm not contaminating the entire flour thing? That'd be perfect. Oh. Oh, like half of that, if that much. Oh, today, day of the primals. That's when you're working with flour, you're gonna make a big old mess. Dee-da-dee. So I don't want to hold that in my hand. I'm gonna put it in the bowl. Bowl's cold. Oh, yeah, it's fine. You definitely made a mess. I know you did. So I'm gonna go ahead and flour that. I'm gonna flour my rolling pin also. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here. Kind of, we have a round-ish shape. It's actually kind of like a heart. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this out. Put extra flour if you see that it's starting to stick. Sometimes you'll have clumps of butter just kind of fall out. That's fine. We are rolling this out to be about 1 inch tall, rectangle-ish. I'm going to go ahead and fold. This is how we're going to get a lot of our layers working in. I'm going to add additional flour here. I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to kind of go top, 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 top. So it sticks together. And then this is a little extra. We'll do this and this. Once again, flour the top. Repeat. This time we're going to roll it completely. I like how Jeff watches as he eats chips. The best kind of chips. Those are my favorite chips. Roof fillet. Oh, now we're sponsored by... Keep getting sponsored streams. Jeez. We didn't even ask for all these sponsorships. Oh, you're going to give that to Opie? This stream is sponsored by the concept of queso. Oh, that would be a fun stream. Like, trying to come up with a good queso recipe. Dun, 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 dun. Getting them layers, delicious layers. Just really trying to make sure it is like all together. I can see that. It's because it's not cheese in a sense, so it definitely is very different. And also, Zachary, I would be very concerned if you did not like cheese. I feel like cheddar and sour cream chips are very unique in their, like, smell. Like, you know when a bag of that opens. There is no avoiding that whatsoever. Okay, so I've done my folding, I've done my layering. I'm currently kind of trying to get it, what do I say? I want it to be about 1 inch tall, so I'm going to do this a little. Okay, we got a rectangle. A bright rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my hands real quick. Yeah, see? This all works out. Timing works out perfectly. We put one in, we take one out, we have to work the next set. I have prepared a sheet with a non-stick pad. I'm going to split this up into 12 equal-ish squares. So this is cut into thirds and then half. Half. So when I say these are like big pieces, they're pretty large squares. Rectangle-ish square. Yeah. They're a shape. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on. And once again, I want to go ahead and put this in the freezer. See if this even picks it up. But you could kind of see the layers that are there. There is a fine layer of butter just kind of all through that. And that is the big thing that we're going for. This is going back into the freezer. Which always a tricky part is making sure this fits in the freezer without it like perfect. So that's 20 minutes on that. No, we wait a little bit. Now I catch up on chat. Basically gonna make a very similar mess soon, so we don't have to clean up too much. Okay. At this point, I do want to start preheating my oven. So it was already heated from the previous bake, our lovely soda bread, which is sitting back there, just kind of cooling. I think that'll take, yeah. So you want to give it that extra time. So the I say at 20, like before you do the rollout and you flatten it, I say start preheating your oven at the 425, because again, your oven's gonna say, yo, I'm at 425, but you look at your thermometer, it's like, oh, it's actually at like 350. It's still heating up the whole thing. I do need to grab another non-stick, my other non-sticky thing. Come here, non-sticky thing. My silicone mold thing. Oh, we are also not done with the butter, because before we actually throw them into the oven, we're going to melt butter, kind of brush them real nice with that butter. That'll give it that nice extra brown on the top, and you'll be all happy. If you had a long day, Kanji, you were extra long today. Kanji was like across the couch earlier today and was like on several like sofa portions. Being a long lad. Alright, so let me just rinse this because it's clumps. Trying to think. We'll just work on the next one. Like, what do? Let's measure out our buttermilk. 1/4 cup again. Yep. Just checking my numbers there. So, hello, Ava. Evalantor. How are you today? Button. All right. I think by the time we finish mixing this one up, it should be a little less than the 15 minutes. It'll be close to done. So again, we got our clumpy clumps. I am about 2 hours in. So, whoop. So nearing, I'd say we're probably 2/3, maybe a little more than 2/3 of the way in on this. We already prepped our turkey. You could probably move that camera, or I'll move the kanji cam later so you guys could see it in the fridge before we finish up, and you can see how like organized my fridge is for one. Fridge is usually chaos. Right, so I've mixed my buttermilk. I was gonna say buttercream. That's just frosting. I'm gonna toss it out here. So it's still kind of not all together, but it was just starting to come together. Probably should have mixed it with my hands a little bit in there. Let this one be a little more clumpier than, a little more separated than the other one. But that's fine. We got a clean counter with all the counter space to. There we go. Oh, I don't know why we didn't need it. Okay, there we go. The moment it like comes together, we don't want to roll it or work it too much more. That's when we start jumping right into the folding process. Just kind of making sure to get all the clumps that have kind of separated a little bit. There we go. We're going to reflour the countertop. Plop this right in the center there. Pop that on the top. No, so this is buttermilk biscuits. I mean, it could be a pie crust pretty easily. I just minus the like baking powder, the large amount of baking powder in here to have it rise up. I think the first year I did Thanksgiving, I did do like an apple pie from scratch, which is fine, but it takes a lot of work. And I'm like, you know what? I'm making everything else. I'm just making one dessert, and it's not apple pie. So if someone wants apple pie for Thanksgiving, when they come here, they have to bring it. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it this way. Working to get those layers. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to fold it again. I'm going to flip it so that seam side is down, and I have like butter trying to like peek out. So again, smash, smash. So these layers kind of play nice and get stuck to each other. Gonna reflour the countertop. We don't want to use too much flour, but enough so things aren't sticking. Oh no, it dumped. Oh, jeez. Do you happen to know why it did that? Now, are we talking the floor of the oven or the floor somehow? Okay, so you know, that's better than it being like open oven. Uh-oh, the oven's like really smoking. Oh, the half of the apple pie in the inside is burning on the bottom of the oven. Oh no! I'm gonna go ahead, fold, fold, beat it up, beat it up. And this will be our last set of folds that we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead. Starting to stick. The moment you feel anything sticking, kind of check the bottom from time to time, just add extra flour. So now we're rolling this up. To the size that we want. Oven claims it's at 425, but it probably isn't. That's why we started early. If you feel like when you're working with a highly buttered dough that you want to be layered, if you start feeling like it's melting, stop what you're doing, put it on a tray, and just let it go back into the freezer for a little bit. Let it cool. You don't want that butter melting. Bits and pieces of it, yeah, sure, that's fine. But if you start seeing like large clumps of melted, yeah, just stop, put it away, let it rest for a little bit. So I'm going to split this into 12 pieces, equal-ish pieces. And then not share this with anyone for Thanksgiving. Harry, you see nothing. Just working a little quick because it's starting to get a little on the warm side. The dough is starting to get on the warm side. So I want to make sure that I'm not overworking it. These are going to puff up, and it's fine if they're kind of close. That means they'll just kind of mingle a little bit, which is fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And I'll try again. This one has a nice, whoop, nice line of butter. That's just straight butter through there. So I'm going to put this, see where that is on the timer. 8 minutes right now. So 8 more minutes for the previous one. And then we'll put that into the oven. Okay. Because a lot of that's time sensitive, let me make sure I catch up with chat real quick. Butter lines. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, mixing. Oh yeah. Baking powder and baking soda can get you. And it'll get you. They really. Would you? Oh, Kanji's butter lines? Oh no. Yeah, I mean, I usually. See, that's why my. What? Baking soda is very bright orange. Baking powder is very bright red. But sometimes you could misread and you're like, oopsie. Butter lines. Which I get. I think for any like beginning cook or someone who's wanting to bake specifically, that is a very easy thing to mess up. Oh, also it's like my favorite time of year. Nailed It has like their holiday specials going on right now. And I like that show because, oh boy, oh boy, some of these people, it's like, wait, No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Why are you doing that? It's the show is on a pretty tight schedule. Some of those things like I could not do in that time schedule, but I could at least make a cake that would taste good. Some people who are like, yeah, I never cook or bake, or I try and it always turns out terrible. And then you see them on the show going, I'm gonna like not measure anything. LOL, put half a bottle of almond extract in a cake recipe? Don't do that. Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do, like, almond extract half the time is like, put half a teaspoon in. 'Cause that stuff's strong. When I saw someone put a whole, like, half a bottle of almond extract, I was like, oh no. Please, no. And of course, the biggest mistake people make in general is, oh, I don't have to measure this. Yeah, just do whatever. I need to put flour in. Put lots of flour in. Oh no. Like, messing up methods like, oh, with a buttercream, you have to cream your butter first before you start introducing the sugar. That's a method that could be difficult to understand, but when they're like, I'm going to put just half a stick of butter, not follow the instructions. They're given the instructions. Oh my God, there's like clumps of flour on the ground. Let me get that before. Butter chunks on the ground. Okay, kind of. So we're hitting 3 minutes until I have to put the first batch in. The butter that I used earlier, told you it would come back. I'm gonna put it in this bowl. Cover it with plastic wrap and then melt it, because we're gonna wanna brush a delicious, delicious butter, because we are not stopping the butter train. Plastic wraps here. Whoop. Might need. I need more. More butter. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I'm gonna need it for both, so let's do this. This is me saying it out loud to both Jeff and Harry. We need to make sure that we get a nice picture of the spread for Thanksgiving. Because if I've been showing like the process and stuff, I want to make sure to like put on Twitter, be like, this is what we ended up with. These are all the pieces. Actually, that's a very good description of that bed he has, because it's like there's that exact part. Oh, I haven't had cookies. I should make those. Those are good cookies. Nice sugar cookie with that big old chunk of like chocolate there. I'm just gonna eat kanji. No, never kanji. Never. I'll let that sit there. Okay. I was like, wait, that still had timer, and I was confused, and I hit a button, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? No, you dancing, Kanj? It's like, please. Kanji being as adorable as he is, that's what keeps him from being eaten and just constantly fed. Oh, you're rendering stuff. Oh, you're working? Look at you being productive. Who said you could be productive, Jeff? I guess you did. So I said 7 minutes is what that other one was in, but we're gonna have to bake first. So it's gonna be 15 minutes. So that'll sit in the second set will sit in the freezer a little longer than the first one, because I don't want to pull it out before. You could actually just stop that. Whoop. Got our brush, little silicone brush that is so old. Ta-da! So this is our first set that is glowing like the sun. And then I'm gonna go ahead, put melted butter. Especially with this set, 'cause I did just warm this up and this is decently hot. I am going to want to just immediately throw these into the oven and let them start their bake. Ta-da! They have been buttered and everything, and they are ready to just be thrown in at 425. Thank you, oven, for actually being... I'm actually going to do 13 minutes. Just to be on the safe side on that one. I do, like, even with my own recipes, I'll sometimes, like, just check at earlier than a recipe calls out. Everybody's oven's different and all that fun stuff. That is probably another big tip with, like, cooking in general. Double check, just check things, because your oven's going to be different than the oven that the person's using. For sure. Kanji thought about getting up, and I was like, you know what? Nah. Never mind. Put the timer on, right? Yeah. I was, after having a conversation, I'm like, oh wait, let me make sure, because I've made a few mistakes a few times on stream recently where I'm like, okay, timer, put it in 15 minutes. Oops, forgot. All right, so I know I asked this, I think, yesterday. So what are some for those that are celebrating Thanksgiving, or anytime you have like a big feast or whatever, because I know I have a few people in here from not from the States. What are one of your favorite sides to have? Either make or just eat. I am a fiend for sweet potato souffle and now biscuits. Probably eat biscuits forever. I think I'm most excited to so I didn't make biscuits last year, so I'm most excited to like dunk it in the gravy. I'm worried maybe I'm not gonna have enough gravy. Oof. Gotta like stretch my bones. Actually, what I could probably do, at this point this is cold enough. Or it should just pop out. Soda bread. And cool away. Probably could. Yeah. I want to pop that out so it makes sure it kind of cools correctly. Let me actually get this cooling rack that I forgot I owned. babby cooling rack. I don't know where this came from. Because I know I had a small one before and it got real funky. I think 2 Thanksgivings ago. I was like, well, time to replace it. You being a good boy, Kanji? So for me, for the let me think. The rest of the stuff that I have to finish prepping: sweet potato souffle. Actually, well, let me look at my checklist that I have here. I did the cranberry chutney yesterday. I made my pumpkin cheesecake yesterday, and my marshmallows, which I could show you. Let me grab that. The marshmallows. So they've been sitting uncovered. Just kind of uncovered. This outside is starting to solidify real nicely. It's pretty thin because I did a half portion of what I usually do. This will just lay across the top of this sweet potato souffle and then get broiled and toasted. So that's setting real nicely, which I'm excited about. And the note I always make, because it is a homemade marshmallow, it will cook a lot quicker than the store-bought ones. That's just marshmallows. Ava, where do you reside, I guess, country-wise? Because the best way... Yes. So s'mores, these big American things. It's essentially sugar that was heated and then whipped a bunch with gelatin, so it like solidifies, and then laid out to dry. So that marshmallow goes on top of sweet potato souffle, which is just a bunch of sweet potatoes, kind of like mixed up. My sweet potato has sage and coconut milk and a few other things. No additional sweets besides the marshmallow on the top. Okay.
I think they're going to HEB and then here on the way back because they can't take the jerky they're buying home anyway.
I mean, as long as I'm probably gonna wrap up in like 20 minutes, so that should be before they come. No, like I'm just waiting for the biscuits to finish up and then the stream will wrap up. Jeff's family's in town this week, so my schedule's very much so like cramming whatever streams. Cramming in, like, the streams in between family time. So it's like, okay. And yesterday I was streaming when they got into town, and I was like, well, Jeff, I'm just going to stay here. You have fun. But tonight, hopefully... Oh, Kanji, I think that was me. Kanji. I think the thing made like a squeak sound. Put Jeff's family in stream. Come on, y'all. Come. I think Jeff's family is just very excited that I married into the family because I love cooking, which is the opposite of most of them. Like, I am the extreme opposite of their cooking love. Which is why I typically volunteer a lot of times to be like, I can cook this. So his mom's very appreciative that I am like, I'll do Thanksgiving. Like, I will do that. I will cook a bunch of food. Oh, that's right. I was going through my checklist. dry brine the turkey. We'll do that right now. We'll show the result. That's my greatest fear of like putting like my own family. They're in Chicago. They'll behave. Like my sister will visit sometimes and chat. But it's always like, oh, hi, family. And they'll be like, remember when you were little and you did X, Y, Z? Even though it's stuff I'll probably mention on my own. Family finds a way to make it like, oh, hi, family. I love you. Great, and thank you. Yeah, this is our, spiel. This is the soda bread that we made. It's actually, I have it here. It is a recipe from, I'm going to go into a whole spiel now. Ta-da! It is in the official Fallout cookbook that I wrote. If you are interested in it, this is where we start doing like all the things. No. Yes? Yes. Okay, I did the right thing. I am currently running a charity stream for St. Jude. If you donate $5 to St. Jude, Jeff, hit that ! charity button for me. You get a chance to be in a raffle for a signed copy of this. I have an extra copy that I'll sign and send to you if you win the raffle. So I'm only giving away one right now. And then $10, you get a lovely signed message from Kanji saying thank you. And then the Bone-In team, which is the stream team I'm a part of, we are putting together an ebook. I've seen several of the recipes. They look really delicious. And the pictures are really nice. So you will get a copy of that ebook. And then the big one is choose what I make. You gotta read. Zachary, there's lore bits in it. So that's that. Here, I'm going to take the kanji cam for a moment. We're going to go on a little adventure, and we're going to take a look at the turkey that we brined earlier. So I'm going to take this, and we're going into the fridge. So you kind of see my slightly organized fridge for once. Ta-da! Fridge view. So it's kind of backwards. Probably should have turned it the other way. Let me turn it right now. Don't make a mess, Vicky. There we go. So here's our turkey. We cut the back out and then pressed on the chest so it is nice and flat. This leads to a nice quicker cook time with the turkey itself. It currently is dry brining with just salt and some baking powder. Yes, baking powder on it. And I was like, wait a second, we were having conversation about that earlier. So this is going to sit here for over 2 nights and kind of chill. The brine helps make the rest of the meat nice and, actually I don't want to do that, nice and juicy and flavored. The seasoning's going to go ahead and penetrate in there and give deliciousness. So that's what we did earlier. Oh, so see, look, my kitchen's, my fridge is kind of clean. Look in the back, you can see the pumpkin cheesecake's back there, kind of chilling, hiding behind the ricotta cheese. We made that yesterday. So yeah, a lot of prep work's getting done. I'm gonna cover again. Whoop. Now back to the important one. Let me just clean this up. There you go. So that's been the process I've been doing since yesterday. Well, everything I made. The turkey was today. So if you'd like to see a description of how to, that's called spatchcocking and setting it up for a dry brine, if that's something you're interested in doing, I'll probably after the stream highlight that section because I think it's a very good informative thing. It is a very unique way of doing the turkey, but I've found it to be the best and consistent way to get that nice, crisp, delicious, juicy turkey. It does. And it's just, that's what it is. It's spatchcocking. So I had the timer a little early on that, so I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes. I'm looking for the tops of that to be nice and golden brown. I mean, do you see how that turkey's sitting in there? Kind of all like, hello, I'm here to say hello. Again, the only like negative of that like cooking method is you won't get the lovely big bird to put out on the table. I don't care. I'm looking for the best cook, the best like results for that. The other thing, oh shoot, I still need to figure out, I have to go to Costco to pick up more plates and to get salmon. I serve turkey and salmon for Thanksgiving just to have enough protein for everyone. And salmon is an easy recipe that while the turkey's resting, pop it in the oven for like 15 minutes and it's done very quickly. So, exactly. Taste is always a priority. And for me, nowadays, presentation only matters when I'm doing food photography. Beyond that, it doesn't matter. Exactly. Only when I'm doing photos for books or for my website is when I'm like, please let it look kind of nice. And that's years of practice and I still hate decorating cakes. Like, hate it. But it's a thing I do and I try. Yeah, that exact recipe is the salmon recipe I use. It is a huge success. It is super simple to set up. Give that like 2 more minutes. A minute and a half. You could set it up the night before and let it marinate overnight until you're going to be cooking it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to set it up tomorrow night for Thanksgiving when it's going to cook at around 4:30. Don't worry about time. Dinner time is 5. So that's what I try to do. Yeah, I don't put it on sticks anymore. The sticks was a part just for it to match the game photo. Don't do the sticks. Yeah, and that's... So in theory, because I know you mentioned yesterday that you tend to like just figure out what you're going to make that day of. You probably could get away with a shorter marinade. The longer you marinate it, the better it's going to taste. You could... if you're gonna go shopping for like say tonight, buy some salmon. Get the stuff that because I'm sure you might have like soy sauce and all the other ingredients just kind of sitting in your pantry. Get that and put that all together. Ooh, lemon cream sauce. Yes. Mixed drinks. See, that's the big thing I tell people for Thanksgiving when I'm hosting. I'm like, please bring drinks. Because that is a thing we do not have here. Oh, actually, Jeff, there's the recipe from Breath of the Wild, the salmon one. That one requires less of a marinade time. That's the honey. Oh, we got them sweet layers. That's another method I've started using recently. The marinade time for that one's 30 minutes. Thank you, man behind the curtain. Oh my god, the sun. I'm gonna go ahead and move these back here and we'll switch the camera so you get them in the tiny view. Tiny view, tiny biscuits. I'll switch that over real quick. I'm gonna grab the ones that are in the freezer and put those in the oven again. Just so I'm on a good schedule, and then I'm gonna eat like 5 of these on stream. trying to think. The other... So salmon's definitely a fish I did not eat growing up. But recently it's become a pretty big staple here in the house. And I think that's because I've figured out correct ways to kind of cook it and not overcook it. That's the biggest issue with salmon. If you start overcooking it, it's just the house is gonna reek of fish, and then everyone's gonna be sad, and then you're gonna be like, oh man. All right, there we go. Spreaded the butter. Actually, it's funny. The melted butter is starting to like solidify on that one because it was in the freezer for so much longer. So I'm gonna have to watch the timer on this one. Okay. Whoop. I'm gonna just right away put 16 minutes on this one. Now, back to the main event. Biscuits. So, the big thing is you can kind of see how there's like the layers are showing all throughout. These big like gaps are good. We want that. We want like layers, just kind of all throughout. That is why we do all that folding to get that. This is a really pretty one. Nice like shape, nice fluffiness. Oh my goodness. Hi Ganji. These are so good. Main camera. Actually, no, we'll go back to that one. Leave the little biscuits on the side that are cooling. Jeff, you want a biscuit? See, and now you get to like peel off layers. What? Got it. It almost became a kanji biscuit, not a good one. I didn't. I almost did. Me, as I try peeling it, I'm like, oh, this is actually very hot. Our bottoms. Actually, let's make... They're toasty, but not like burnt or anything. That's why I do think like that 425 temperature works real nice. And as you eat them, you get that buttery goodness all throughout it. Oh, yeah, and it's not hard either. As a rule, that's definitely the good temperature. Thank you. I will check that out because I'm always looking for new recipes to just kind of try out and taste deliciousness. Biscuits make me so happy. It's just stupid, but it's like, it's so simple. This biscuit recipe is not on my website. It is actually going to be in the Destiny cookbook. Which is why I was very vague about how much I was putting in. I do imagine it'll probably be one of the earlier recipes that kind of gets shown. Because it's on the cover, right? And it's very good. Yeah. On the bottom left corner, some people were like, oh, there's fried chicken, and some people got like biscuits. Or I saw someone say what looks like sausage rolls, and I'm like, I don't think this. No. You're so good. I'm so happy. Thank you, Jeff, for all the links. So this is exactly that recipe. And actually not exactly, there's a minor swap because I don't have a spice mix. Oh no, I don't? Am I gonna be angry? Oh. It's true, right there. Actually, that is a fact. My one true love is biscuits. I'm just assuming what you're putting up. Forgot that tweet. That tweet's good. So I'm gonna look. That's all I had planned for today. And since I know Jeff mentioned his family will probably be heading over, I'm gonna just do biscuits all day. They're not gonna make it to Thanksgiving. Let me check who is streaming right now. See if any of my. I think she's doing. Let me see. Make sure she's not wrapping up. She's doing one of the recipes from the cookbook. Yeah, so I'm gonna send you all to Leia's stream. She's also doing Thanksgiving prep, and she's also doing a St. Jude charity. So this is the last stream for this week. I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Also, if you are celebrating Thanksgiving, have a wonderful, delicious Thanksgiving. If not, treat yourself. Have something nice this week, because us Americans over here are going to get real fat. But yeah, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for Zachary again, the donation to St. Jude. Trying to set things up as I wrap up. And yeah, I will see y'all next week. Goodbye.